Good morning, everyone. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. First name's Donnie, last name's Glover. In it to win it for the long haul, baby. It's Tuesday morning, and we've just been video bombed by the one and only German Shepherd named Pharaoh. Listen, we had a special guest for today, but we had to reschedule that guest. And so today may be an abbreviated version, but nonetheless, we're going to get on with the program. So yesterday we had a chance to talk with Derek Boyd. Derek Boyd is a Baltimore City legend on the basketball court, but since childhood he has gone on to do some incredible things in the classroom. I heard some really disturbing news last night out in Baltimore County. Was it Woodlawn? A couple killed in Woodlawn. Shooting were immigrant parents. That thing got real ugly. And then there was also some violence in Anne Arundel County. 3 dead, children injured. So much violence in these streets. I want to take a moment and acknowledge the mayor of the city of Baltimore, Mayor Brandon Scott. He had a meeting last night, online meeting. It involved some community leaders from West Baltimore. And while one person I saw in the comments thought the meeting, didn't think much of the meeting, I thought the meeting was great. I think we'd like to see more engagements like this. Of course, COVID has taken place, so the meeting was all virtual, but it had various people. I remember seeing Adeline Hutchinson, the very vocal Marvin Doc Cheatham was on there. Wanda Best was on there, some of our West Baltimore leaders, and it was the beginning of dialogue, and that's what's most important, that we keep the lines of communication open. I mean, to be able to talk directly to your mayor and communicate your concerns, I think is a beautiful thing, something I would certainly do. I think the mayor's doing a respectable job. The man's just got there. We got a chance to see the city administrator. I believe his name is Mr. Shorter. He's done work in Washington, D.C., among other cities. So they talked about streamlining processes, ensuring that people are getting paid. I know there's a new paycheck system. One thing the mayor reiterated, he inherited a city government that is not digitally sound, if you ask me, in my words. The mayor said it wasn't that long ago that he was still filling out timesheets by hand. And that is a system that he has inherited. And it really makes you wonder, what has Baltimore leadership been doing all these years? Isn't that just $1 million question? Computers are everywhere and people are still signing in by hand. I don't get it. And, last night made me think of, we had some people running for mayor who are big on, who are big in business, like Mary Miller. There have been others in the past, David Warnock. And when I think of these corporate types, of course, Mary Miller was with T. Rowe Price. It made me think, does it take a business person to come in and get all of this stuff done right? But at least this mayor's on it. And hopefully we will see some changes over time. When it comes to vendors, people who do business with the city, it is important to get these vendors paid immediately. A lot of times with government, not just here in Baltimore, but across the country, you have municipalities that don't pay in a rapid pace. It take a long time to pay you. And if you're in business and you have to wait, to me, anything longer than a couple of days is long. But when you're in business, things could take 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And you also know that you better not be waiting on that money to eat. You better have some other things in the fire. But from a government perspective, particularly during COVID, you have to really speed your game up. It's already tough enough, and you want people to get paid. And a lot of times people are not getting paid on time. One issue that I wanted to bring up, but it just wasn't the time last night. Last night was about community. I wanted to bring up about the Black businesses, minority business enterprise, minority business participation. Rockman Copeland, I saw your comments when you made them that night, but you won't keep doing that on this show, Rockman Copeland. This isn't that party. Michael Randolph, thank you. Violence is not the problem. Michael Randolph, you always got some answers. Violence is the problem. I don't know what you call it. Violence is certainly a problem. However you couch it, Michael Randolph. Then my man Rico Crowley. Let me go to this long book. Michael Randolph needs a show all the way from Florida. The danger in Baltimore is that you keep doing the same strategy. Oh, there you go, pointing fingers. Michael Randolph, you might want to stick to Florida. You left Sandtown. You get no points. Everybody's got answers. It reminds me of back when the mayoral campaigns were going on. This one guy from East Baltimore, I will not say his name, called me up and told me he had all of these suggestions for a particular candidate. And I said, oh, they kicked you out of Florida. What I shared with this guy is, why don't you run for mayor since you have all of the answers? I'm guilty. Some of us are guilty of playing Monday morning quarterback. You should have did this. You should have did that. But I also hope I'm guilty of being proactive and not waiting on city government or anybody else to get things done. When it comes to Black business, we have never waited on government. We push government, but we out there pushing Black Wall Street Awards. We're pushing entrepreneurship. We're trying to inspire and encourage and help empower Black entrepreneurs, not just here in Baltimore, but also Randallstown, Prince George's County, and wherever Black people should be, all the way to Oakland. And on that note, you really got to check out our new show, part of the new programming, the Black Business Roundtable, 7 p.m. Thursdays, right here on BlackUSA.News. It's very important that we connect with our Black business owners across the country. What I love about the people in Oakland is a fervent desire to get it right. And I think Oakland is similar to Baltimore. I think Baltimore used to have a lot of, it's just they got that fire in Oakland. They got that fire in their belly. We had that fire in our belly. Some of us still have that fire in our belly here in Baltimore, but a lot of us have gotten comfortable. And, not just in the past few years, but say, over the past 50 years. A lot of people may not agree with me, but I would say that we have gotten softer since integration. Yes, we can move to Randallstown, we can move to Owens Mills, we can move to this place and that place, but what do we do in the process? We forsake what we have, and now in many cases what we had. You've seen it in Harlem, you've seen it in Brooklyn, you've seen it in DC. Black people moved to the burbs, and those properties that we left in the city, other people are finding value in them. And hey, you can live where you want to live, but don't complain when you see other people setting up shop in your old neighborhood. I think we can live in Randallstown and still have businesses in the city. I think it's very possible. A lot of people live in Randallstown and work in Baltimore City. A lot of drug dealers live in Randallstown and sell drugs in Baltimore City, something that's not often discussed. I know because I see them. You got people posted up on inner city corners. They do not live here. They live in Randallstown, Woodlawn, Owens Mills. There's some decent people out there, of course. But I'm telling you about some of the negativity that we see on a daily basis. So a lot of times Baltimore gets a bad rap But Baltimore City, Baltimore County, their destinies are intertwined. Some even argue that it should be just one municipality. And at some point, we really do have to look at that model. Right now, anybody who becomes mayor in Baltimore loves it because Baltimore is one of those unique situations around the country. There are a few of them where the mayor is very, very powerful. When it comes to budget, the mayor makes the budget. City council has no say. They can cut, but they can't add to the budget. So that makes this city's mayor very, very powerful. And that's why it is important to work with the mayor, because that's who's in charge. That's where decisions are made. That's who is running the show. And the election is over. And on that note, there is an election for governor next year. This is going to be very, very interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Over the weekend, we learned that Johnny Olszewski is not running for governor. As a matter of fact, a young man who works for Johnny Olszewski is now working for Tom Perez down in Montgomery County. So I would presume that means that Johnny O is taking a page out of the Martin O'Malley book. Remember, back in 2002, Martin O'Malley could have ran for governor, but instead he let Kathleen Kennedy Townsend go out there and make a plumb fool of herself. And she got smashed. First Republican won in 36 years. Think about that. The Democrat, Kathleen Kennedy Townsend, was very rude, disrespectful, and ignorant to black people. And she got dismissed with the swiftness. Blacks in Prince George's County, Baltimore City, and Randallstown were not going for that okie doke. And as if that weren't bad enough, a Republican in the form of Larry Hogan came back in 2014 and did it again. So I would imagine this election, next June, primary, you will see the Democrats come back or attempt to come back with a vengeance. Waiting in the gap, laying back is Peter Franchot, the comptroller. And one could surmise that he has the juice, he has the advantage. But we'll see. It also will be interesting. Hey, Michael Randolph, ain't nobody posting that long book you wrote. It will be interesting to see what Wes Moore does. A lot of people have been talking about Wes Moore. He's, of course, Baltimore's own. He wrote a book, The Other Wes Moore. And he was running the Robin Hood Foundation. I think he was making a pretty penny there in New York, but he stepped down recently. And a lot of people surmised, he hinted that he's running for governor. Rashawn Baker is also in there. So you got Peter Franchot, Rashawn Baker, Tom Perez, Wes Moore. Those are the names that we're hearing nowadays. Johnny O is out. Angela Also Brooks is out. So we'll see. But at present, advantage Peter Franchot. He's from Montgomery County, used to be a delegate representing Montgomery County. I remember him fondly when I was a social services commissioner under then Governor O'Malley. I certainly have my thoughts, but I'll save them for now. What's also going to be interesting is the comptroller's race, who will replace Peter Franchot. You have a Baltimore lady running, Brooke Learman, originally of Montgomery County, if I'm not mistaken. Her father was heavy in Maryland politics, Mr. Learman. And then you have the mayor of Bowie, who is running. Black man, millionaire, did well by federal contracts, and is now the mayor of Bowie, Tim Adams. We're waiting to see if anyone else should jump in the race. I'm really excited about that race. You know, Maryland has never had a black comptroller, governor, treasurer, U.S. senator. So while around the country, there's all kinds of talk, conversation about Black Lives Matter, Black businesses matter, Does that hold true in Maryland? Do Black Lives matter in Maryland? Do black politics matter in Maryland? Because thus far we have not seen a black statewide elected official. And so when I hear black people in Baltimore defending the Democratic Party, it's like, okay, kind of like that Stockholm syndrome. I'm a black man in America. I'm in love with no party, as has been stated over the years. No permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interests. On the Republican side, I guess I should mention that Kelly Schultz, Secretary of Commerce, formerly Secretary of Dollar, we call that Dollars, Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation. She's running for governor. I've also heard Michael Steele's name. Of course, we haven't seen Michael Steele in 15 years. I don't know how that's going to work. Kind of like Ben Jealous. You know, he ran for governor, then we haven't seen him again. And I've shared on this show that I get editorials from him all the time. But I sent back a question after I received the first editorial, like, where have you been? And why are you sending me editorials? Is this to gain favor in Maryland? You gain favor by knocking on people's doors and showing up and being present. That's how you get favor. What else? Yes, that's about it. Finishing up the book on Black Wall Street. I Am Black Wall Street coming out. Just making sure it's right. My daddy said they don't remember how fast you did it. They remember how well you did it. And just having some, you know, just going through the process of chiseling it down. I did get an interview in Boston by way of the computer. I had a wonderful interview. They will be sending me the link. I will be sharing that on this page. So again, today's show, we had a scheduling change. The guests who we did have scheduled had a major obligation come before them. We will not hold it against them. We'll be patiently awaiting them. And if you have any tidbits, topics, do email us at Donnie@bmorenews.com. We'd love to have you. And other than that, I want you to have a beautiful and prosperous day. Do check out BMoreNews.com. Do check out BlackUSA.News. And my name's Donnie Glover. And I will be catching you later at 7 p.m. for It's Party Marty. Let's talk.